Good day everyone, I am Shola Marie Alcuya and today we are going to talk about children with learning disabilities. So first, let us going to take a look at the definition of learning disability. Learning disability is a reduced intellectual activity and difficulty with everyday activities, which will affect someone for their whole life. According to Department of Health, learning disability is a significant reduced ability to understand new or complex information, to learn new skills with a reduced ability to cope independently, which started before adulthood. The term learning disability was introduced in 1963 by Dr. Samuel Kirk. He is a well-known American special education expert. His research at Illinois was the first of its kind to study exceptional or special needs learners, and it pinpointed gaping holes in curriculum for students with learning disabilities. After 50 years, the college and the Department of Special Education looked back and looked forward at the Samuel A. Kirk Symposium, which brought together leaders in the field today to discuss Kirk's legacy and relate exciting new breakthroughs in the field of special education. People with learning disability tend to take longer to learn and may need support to develop new skills, understand complicated information, and interact with other people. The problems experienced vary from person to person. It may include aspects such as learning new things, communication, managing money, reading, writing, or personal care. Some people are born with disability, whereas others may develop one as a result of an accident or illness in childhood. Types of learning disabilities differ hugely. Someone with mild disabilities may be able to live independently with minimal support, whereas someone with severe and profound disabilities may require 24-hour care and help with performing most daily living skills. In the Philippines, special education for children with learning disabilities is only in its early years of implementation. Unlike the special education programs for children with mental retardation, giftedness and talent, visual and hearing impairments, and behavior problems that date back to 1950s, there are very few schools all over the country that have started to offer programs for children with learning disabilities. Children with learning disabilities are not children with mental retardation whose mental ability fall within below average in the normal distribution curve. They have relatively average or even above average intelligence who experience severe learning or academic problem in school, and they possess these three behavioral problems. First is inattention. A child will seem uninterested or like he or she is not listening. Second is hyperactivity. A child will seem restless and easily bored. They may have trouble sitting still or staying quiet when needed. And the last one is impulsivity. Children will do silly things to get attention, have trouble in following the rules, aggressive towards other kids, and they tend to overact to frustration, disappointments, mistakes, and criticism. In the toddler or early childhood stage, their parents may think that they are just simply naturally energetic, but later they will notice that despite the increase in chronological age and unlike their peers, these children fail to outgrow their inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity, and generally poor school performance. Now let us move on to the viewpoint of the American National Joint Committee on Learning Disabilities, or NJCLD. It is a national committee of representatives of organizations committed to the education and welfare of individuals with learning disabilities. This group will study the present status of identification procedures, interprofessional relationship and management of children with learning disabilities, and other issues of mental concern. And this organization issued and stated in 1989 that learning disabilities is a generic term that refers to a heterogeneous group of disorders manifested by significant difficulties in the acquisition and use of listening, speaking, reading, writing, reasoning, and mathematical abilities. These disorders are intrinsic to the individual and presumed to be due to central nervous system dysfunction. Learning disabilities may appear across the lifespan. Problems in self-regulatory behavior, social perception, and social interaction may exist in learning disabilities but do not themselves constitute a learning disability. Although learning disabilities may occur concomitantly with other handicapping conditions, for example blindness, deafness, serious emotional disturbance, or with extrinsic influence such as cultural differences, insufficient or inappropriate instruction, learning disabilities is not the result of these conditions. A group of disorders is heterogeneous. Therefore, it is possible that one or more disorders can occur and can be experienced at the same time. But there's no two learning disabled persons are alike in mental and behavioral characteristics. A child with learning disability may have difficulties in listening, speaking, reading, writing, reasoning, or mathematical abilities that affects his or her performance in school subjects. Children with learning disability cannot learn in the regular school subjects like his or her normal classmates. Although their mental ability is average or above average, they can meet many difficulties, especially in reading. When a child does not learn knowledge and skills in accordance with his or her potential to learn as measured by a standardized mental ability test, while his or her mental ability is appropriate to his or her chronological age, the child's performance in school shows that achievement is 2 or more years below the grade level. Thus, a 10-year-old with an IQ that is normal for a 10-year-old fails to pass the grade level although he or she has the ability to do so. And this phenomenon explained by the factor called IQ achievement discrepancy. It is a traditional method used to determine whether a student has a learning disability and needs of special education services. Learning disabilities is intrinsic to an individual. This means that the causes of learning disabilities can be organic, biological, genetic, or environmental. The organic and biological factors are traced to the central nervous system, particularly the brain. But mostly, the cause of learning disabilities is still unknown. Here are the 3 criteria in determining the presence of learning disabilities. The following criteria must be present when assessing children to have learning disabilities. First is a severe discrepancy between the child's potential and actual achievement. Severe discrepancy refers to one of the primary components of most states and/or local guidelines for determining if a student is eligible for special education services related to a specific learning disability. Learning disabilities is present when mental ability tests and standardized achievement test results show discrepancy between general mental ability and achievement in school. Oral expression, listening comprehension, reading comprehension, written expression, basic reading skills, mathematics calculation, and reasoning are the pieces of evidence of discrepancy score of 2 or greater than 2 in intellectual ability and achievement in one or more of the mentioned areas. Children may show learning difficulties that are minor or temporary, in which case a true learning disabilities are present. They are neither minor or temporary. The degree of discrepancy is such that special education is needed. They manifest specific and severe learning problems despite regular education efforts. Second is exclusion or absence of mental retardation, sensory impairment, and other disabilities. This criteria means that the child has significant problems that cannot be explained by mental retardation, sensory impairment like low vision, blindness, hearing impairment, emotional disturbance, or lack of opportunity to learn. Children with learning disabilities are not the children who are mentally retarded, sensory impaired, or physically disabled. We can determine if the student is experiencing learning disabilities if all the conditions for learning are present. And the last one is need for special education services. Teachers needs a unique, uncommon, and unusual quality of teaching methods and strategies in teaching children with learning disabilities. The strategies supplement the organizational and instructional procedures used with majority of the children in regular schools. This criterion is meant to keep children who have not had an opportunity to learn from being classified as learning disabled. Children with learning disabilities should progress normally as soon as they receive effective instruction at the curricular level that is appropriate to their current skills. That is why they need special education services to remediate their achievement deficiencies. That's all. Thank you and God bless.